Seabreeze in Rochester, New York is a small park that I got to go to for the first time in over 3 years. It was always my childhood park that I would make it out to every summer. But back then, I wasn't a coaster enthusiast, but now, obviously, I am. I'm going to share my thoughts on it in this video. Seabreeze opened back in 1879, making it the 5th oldest park in the US, which is a really cool record that sadly not many people talk about. It would go by the name Seabreeze until the 1940s when it was renamed to Dreamland, which would only last about until the 70s when it was renamed back to Seabreeze, which is still what it's called today, obviously. But now that we have a little bit of history aside, let's talk about the more important things, like how the park is today, and especially the coasters. They have 4 great roller coasters, and the first one we are going to talk about is Bear Tracks, the E&F Miler Kiddie Coaster, because why not? This time I was too tall to ride it, but because like I said earlier, I went to this park a lot as a kid. And I probably rode this about 4 to 5 times, so this is probably one of my rarest credits, and I feel very lucky to have ridden it when I did. I don't remember too much except for thinking that it was intense, but I was really young, so now I would say it's probably a slightly above average kiddie coaster from what I remember. Next is Jackrabbit, which is probably the main reason you even clicked on this video at all. It's a John Allen wooden roller coaster that opened back in 1920, and before that anyone tries to say that it stole the name from Kennywood's Jackrabbit, the one at Seabreeze actually opened on May 31st, 1920, which is less than a month before Kennywood's Jackrabbit, which opened on June 18th of 1920. So this means that Seabreeze's Jackrabbit is the first roller coaster with upstop wheels, which once again, it's a very under-talked about record. I don't want to go too much into detail about it because soon I will have a full review out on it, but what I will say is that it's a great coaster for its time especially, and even has some good flow to airtime moments, especially the entrance into the far turnaround, which was the strongest airtime moment on the entire ride. It also mixes in some surprisingly good laterals. But like I said, if you want to hear more about it, then just watch the review when I post it, which will be very soon. The next coaster I'm going to talk about is bobsleds. A very cool and also weird hybrid coaster that originally opened back in 1954. And it was opened as a junior wood coaster named Junior Coaster. I know, not a very creative name, but in 1962 it was converted into bobsleds. A brand new marketable hybrid coaster. So it's funny because everyone says that New Texas Giant was the first ever hybrid conversion, but really it was bobsleds. And another funny thing is that in the beginning, right out of the station, it has 2 compact bunny hills that ride like a tamer version of an RMC pre-lift. It's a pretty fun coaster with some drops that you can really feel in your stomach. But the lap bar does come down a lot during the valleys, which led to the end of the coaster actually being like really uncomfortable, even though I had 3 to 4 inches of room at the start. By then, it almost felt like a B&M wing coaster, like not the vest part, but the lap bar part itself. But I can look past it because it wasn't that bad. And the last roller coaster here is Whirlwind, the 2003 Maurer Spinner. Not too much to say about this one, except that the drop is really good backwards, and it definitely does spin more than the other clones of this model, and that makes it a lot better. And it has the best view of the whole park by far. Even though this coaster itself is only 50 feet tall, you're about 115 feet above Lake Ontario, so you feel like you're much higher up than you actually are. And just brace yourself on the lift hill if you're going backwards, because when the anti-rollback catches the train, you get jolted forwards, and it can be kind of uncomfortable if you're not expecting it, but it's not that bad. But overall, I think this is a great addition to this park. But now let's talk about the park atmosphere. I really love the way this park looks and feels as you walk through it. It feels like a small, family-owned park, and everyone seems to be happy. There are many trees for shade, and the park is very good at planting flowers everywhere that needs them. You can really tell that this park opened in 1879, but in the best way possible. Many of the rides have fresh paint or at least newer coats of paint that aren't faded. Another thing that I should probably talk about is the price. I do really like Seabreeze, but I feel like $43 is just a little bit overpriced for a daily ticket, especially when Darien Lake is only $29 per day. And you might be able to say that's because Seabreeze is a family-owned park instead of a corporate park like Six Flags and Cedar Fair, or now just Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. But Indiana Beach, for example, has a cheaper ticket and they have a lot more rides there. And the rides that they do have are also more thrilling, especially to the GPS. It doesn't bring the park down in my rankings at all, but I just wanted to talk about it. In the end, I think that Seabreeze is a very nice park that you should really go check out if you're in the area. And if you've been to Seabreeze, then tell me what you thought of this park in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video.